Welcome back into Raptors Today, fans. Did you miss me? Jake tried to get me fired. Akil Augustine and the Hamilton twins, Sherman Hamilton and Savanna, jumping into it. Raptors brand basketball. Let's break it down. Lots to talk about. Shouts out to the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Saquon forever. The Giants don't know what they're doing. But let's talk about Rockets, Raptors first and foremost. I'll start with you, Savanna Hamilton. Was it great defense or just a really bad offensive night for both teams? What gets the credit?
Really bad offensive night, and Houston hitting some last-minute threes and getting some second-chance points. That's kind of my recap on that. Pretty simply, like, you look at the three-point percentage shooting for both teams, but especially for the Raptors, and it's unfortunate that Houston just happened to get hot in the fourth quarter because that really was the difference. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I just thought that Philadelphia's defense was way too much for Kansas City, and I think the defense made the offense look very pedestrian.
Those sacks early really changed the complexion of the game. But the Raptors, of course, without R.J. Barrett, without Jakob Poeltl, so guys are playing out of position, obviously. The teams, what are you guys chuckling about now?
Well, I mean, Houston was without Fred VanVleet.
Okay, that's fair.
Torrey Eason.
That's fair.
Out some guys.
That's fair.
So it was pretty much a battle of teams that were missing key players.
Yeah.
And I thought, to Savannah's point, defensively, the Raptors did enough throughout pretty much 3/4 of the game, 3/4 and a bit. And then Houston found something. They found some offensive explosion from Jalen Green.
They found a bag of gold on the side of the road.
They did. But that's what happens, though. I mean, you think about Houston and where they are in the Western Conference. Haven't been playing well the last few games, but
I'm shocked to see where they're at personally.
Yeah, absolutely, but that's kind of the residual impact. Even when your main guy in Fred VanVleet isn't there, guys figure it out because
goes out with
Şengün went down. Yeah, so guys figure out that they still have a responsibility to perform at a high level, and that's what they did to finish the game. And the Raptors just couldn't find it. They couldn't find the consistency. They had some good performances, but across the board, and you need your main guy to be your main guy, and Scotty struggled again.
Yeah. Raptors down bodies, obviously, post-trade deadline. Then you got the injury issue. We'll talk about Scotty and his struggles, but let's highlight a couple of Raptors. Listen, I'm happy with the loss. Like, I know this is the wrong thing to say, but hey, I'm still part of that group that thinks there's a lot more things in the future for our Toronto Raptors, right? 4 in a row. I'm happy. But let's talk about Shed.
You were miserable during that win streak.
I was going to say.
I wasn't miserable because they're playing the right type of basketball and they're growing as a group, but I feel like, I'm with everybody else on this is going to be a good draft. Now, ignore that. Jamal Shead, let's give the kid his flowers because Davion out. We'll talk about that later in the show. Savanna, you're as close with the team as anyone out here. Talk to me about Jamal Shead. And I know we shouldn't be surprised, especially things RJ has said about the guy.
Yeah.
But he's given an opportunity and he showed up last night.
And showing up is what he knows he has to do right now. I spoke to him in the locker room before the OKC game.
Yep.
And I asked him, how does it feel to kind of be trusted with this role, knowing that Davion Mitchell is now
That's a huge vote of confidence.
That's a huge vote of confidence, and he appreciated that. And he said that he knows that he has to step to the plate. He knows that he could reach out to Davion Mitchell at any given point in time
Just
for
wait
advice.
A couple days.
However,
wait a couple days.
Yeah. Wait a couple days. Let it sink in a little bit first. But he is grateful for this role. He's grateful for the trust, and I think we're seeing him show up because not only are we seeing him even develop on the defensive side. He came in already pretty strong as a defender, but
well known out of Houston.
Yeah, exactly. More so adjusting to this team's systems. But now we're seeing him with the vote of confidence from both RJ and get this, Brandon Ingram also spoke to him about shoot the rock, my guy, shoot the rock.
Brandon likes his Raptors.
He does. Jamal told me that Brandon told him to go shoot more.
Okay.
The day that Brandon arrived even. Yeah. And so that's what he's doing. And now we're seeing some great performances from him.
Lots of internal growth. Can we touch on Jamison Battle for a quick sec? Because now his contract has been upgraded. He was a two-way splitting time between the 905 and the Raptors. Now he is a full-time NBA pro. Sherm, since the start of the season, you've been really high on this guy. Talk to me. Your boy got his deal.
The guy can shoot the ball.
Obviously.
And that's a real, tangible, coveted skill in the NBA. A dead-eye shooter who can knock it down. He's not a corner shooter. He's a three-point shooter. He can make shots. But also he's shown a little bit of, I can create a little bit, I can get off the bounce and make something happen. He works hard defensively. He doesn't show his deficiencies on that side of the ball because he works hard. And also, it doesn't matter if he's played or not. You put him in the game, every shot he takes looks like it has a chance.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you talked about his shimmy because Raptors have seen a couple of dead-eye shooters. You see Novak, you see Matt Thomas, but they weren't able to add that element to the game to justify closing out super hard at times. The other guy we got to give props to, Orlando Robinson. He moves from a guy who came in on 2 10 days.
Yeah.
2 10 days. Now with the Raptors moving out a big and Kelly, it's very important for Orlando Robinson to continue to develop with that 9-5 club, and he's a two-way now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I spoke to him even, he was telling me that he's working on his touch around the rim. He was kind of mad in the first 10 day that he was missing some bunnies, but he said he's going to clean that up, and we've seen some improvement there already in the second 10 day. He also has a three-point shot, and that's something I think I mentioned even when we first talked about him, when he first
Do we
got
want
the
him
10
shooting
day.
it?
We don't know if we want him
We
shooting
need
it.
size.
Yeah, we do. Hey, we need size, but no one's
There it
saying
is.
no to a three-point
There it
shooting
is.
big. No one's saying no to a three-point shooting big, okay? In this
Yep.
league, nah. So I like what I'm seeing from him. He's has a higher ceiling, I think, to reach, and I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I actually do think it's crazy that guy wasn't on the NBA roster. So, shouts out to the Toronto Raptors once again finding a gem. Raptors were at practice. We didn't talk about IQ's return, so we'll let him talk about it himself.
Has this been kind of a learning experience for you? Like, you've never really missed this much time in a single season, even going back to last year, obviously. Is it sort of surprised you a little bit, how long it takes to get to the
Yeah,
way you
even
want
going
to be?
back to my whole career, I've never really been injured before. Just, trying to find different ways. I say it all the time, but just trying to find different ways to get better. I mean, trying to have like a growth mindset to where, might not always be easy, might not always get it right, but just trying to, learn through failure, learn through, success both ways, and just be open to, sometimes you got to learn new ways, and this is one of them, so.
What are your needs and wants in the last 30 games of the year, personally?
I feel like it's just to improve daily. I feel like I work hard individually, and as a team, I feel like, we're coming together. For me, I know if I just improve, daily, I'll be where I want at the end of the year, and I think the team has the same mindset as well. It's all about, not taking any day for granted, trying to improve each and every day, whether that be on the court, emotionally, spiritually. I just want to be the best individual I can be, and also having a mindset to just be aggressive every time I'm on the floor.
You are going to play as 4 rookies are going to get a lot of minutes in the last part of the season. How can you help them through that process?
I feel like there's different ways that, different people learn. Some people respond better to tough love, and, others respond better to, putting your arm around them. So just trying to find a balance of both, because, the league is not easy, and they need to know that, but also just kind of, also taking my time with them, because, the league also is not easy. So it goes both ways.
I was talking to another rookie, Jamal, before the game. He was saying last year when you guys practiced in Houston, he was like kind of spying on you from top. He's watching you in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Said, okay, that's an NBA point guard. What's it look like? And what's your assessment of his progress to, of course, becoming an NBA point guard?
He's been great. He's been terrific. Just trying to continue to show him different things. He's ahead of the curve already. Obviously, playing here in Houston, he played for a great coach, that had a lot of NBA philosophy already. So he's ahead of the curve. He works really hard, and he's a great teammate. On top of that, when you have all those type intangibles and things, you're going to have a long NBA career. So I'm proud of 2-3. He's been great.
He was a great teammate. Is it just like kind of his energy?
Energy, always positive, always, bringing, don't matter what day it is, he's going to bring, he's an energy giver, not an energy taker. So you need people like that, through 82 game season.
The internet wins again. Unfortunately, we haven't had our opportunity to talk about the big transaction for the Toronto Raptors. Rarely ever when you go online and you hear the guys over at Raptors Republic or wherever have you talking about potential trades. This one floated around early, came true. Brandon Ingram. Yeah. Some people even picked what was going back, right? People were saying it's Kelly and Bruce for Brandon. They didn't get the picks right. But initial reaction, I go to my OG, the old head, the one who's seen it all, Sherm. Thoughts on Brandon Ingram joining this plethora of wings on the Toronto Raptors?
It's interesting. It has real potential. Brandon Ingram is a bucket getter. He can go get buckets.
Where does he get the buckets
play
from?
Isolation basketball.
Yep.
The question is, how does it fit into the movement system of Darko Rajakovic? There's a lot of, that kind of 0.5 mentality. Catch the ball, move it, do something with it, get it going. Where Brandon, as we saw him do it to the Raptors, he can put a lot of points on the board. So Doesn't necessarily do it off of movement, but he talked about it. It was interesting. He said this, and I think it slid under the radar. He said he wants to learn. He wants to kind of expand himself. He wants to figure out different things, and this will be an opportunity for him. Obviously, look what he does. I mean, 25-5, the guy can play.
Former All-Star.
He can play, no question
In the
about it.
Western Conference.
Now we're going to see this style, if he can adjust his game and kind of find that balance to have the similar success in a system that isn't necessarily predicated on one-on-one basketball.
The elephant in the room is his contract. Now, obviously, as an experienced NBA people, we would think that the Raptors don't pull the trigger on this deal without having had conversations with his representation team to get an understanding of him wanting to be here. So with that being said, Sherm alluded to it, Savannah.
Yep.
Raptors rarely get the biggest names in free agency, so this seems like the route the Raptors must take a la the Kawhi model of finding players who are down in value, who are better in game, and bringing them in here.
Yeah, I think, when you're playing for a team like the Pelicans, you're not getting much love right now. Like, they're not the greatest team in the world. Let's call it for what it is.
It's a
here.
dumpster fire.
Yeah, okay.
With great
you said it,
pieces.
not me. Okay, I'm
I love Trey
trying to get in
Murphy.
trouble. But Brandon Ingram, I think, he sees a potential fit here. I think that's why he came here. He also loves Toronto.
Organizational excellence.
When you saw those interviews that were floating around the internet, he said, like my top three cities I would like to be in is like LA, Miami,
Yep.
and Toronto.
Yeah,
And exactly.
I think Zion's was Houston. That's no comment.
Akil's on one today. Akil's on one today. Okay, to your
They
point.
said it.
To your point, Sherm, I wanted to add one more thing about the style, type of play that he wants to develop into. One thing that really stood out to me that floated under the radar when he came here was definitely the fact that he said one of his favorite players is Jakob Poeltl.
Wow.
Now, he's never met Jakob Poeltl, so why would you say that?
Watching tape.
Watching tape and wanting to play off of a guy like that.
And the other thing, too, is from what I understand, he waived his 15% trade kicker.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even read that.
So that's allowing the Raptors to understand about the seriousness of what can happen moving down the road.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let's go.
I just think that maybe that is a kind of the idea of thinking that there is real potential. And Bobby Webster spoke about this, the potential of the idea of what could happen in the future with this team and Brandon Ingram.
King
Yep.
B.I. Now, we do have to touch on the guys going out. Shouts out to Bruce, came in the Pascal Siakam package. People were worried whether or not that would have been kind of a wasted move if they didn't get something in return. I think this makes it a solid move. And then I feel bad because Kelly thought he was going to be home for a while, and I really was happy to see Kelly at home. You could touch on that for a quick second. And Davion, right? 3 guys who I think were a big part of this year for us we got to say bye to.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it always stings when you see a fellow Canadian
man.
leave. The captain of Team Canada. He has mentioned several times to me, I know, that he wanted to retire a Raptor. I think he wanted this to be his final destination. Of course, this is a business.
Yep.
You got to take the emotion out of it. I think he wrote a really sweet, sentimental piece to Toronto for just being grateful for the opportunity to play for your childhood favorite team.
Yep.
And so I thought that was very sweet. He's just a class act, and he's a great veteran leader in the locker room. I think the Raptors are going to really miss him.
All right, shouts out to those guys. That's it for us right now. We got to head to the head coach. He's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Let's find out what Darko's thinking.
In the fourth quarter, they had 3 situations that they shot threes off the dribble on the buzzer beater, and shots they were missing for the most of the game. They made them there at the end. While we stayed cold during whole game, made only 8 threes. And that was pretty much the whole game there. Disparity in second chance points and 3-point line. That was the game. I thought that we fought really hard. I thought that we played really, really good defense for the stretch of 3 quarters. We just could not sustain it, and we could not score tonight.
It looked like Quickley was more active tonight than you see him. Are you seeing him more assertive and feeling better down the game?
Yes, I mean, that's the whole purpose of building him up and having that minute restriction so he can go and play really hard for 16 minutes. So he can go out there and play really hard for 20 minutes, really hard for 24 minutes. And as we is increasing that, his conditioning is back. He's finding the rhythm more there. I think that he did a really good job communicating with his teammates. He did very solid on defensive end. He did a lot of positive stuff today in this game.
I'm TJ Ford, and you're watching the Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Works right into the lane, puts it up and in!
TJ runs away, fades, fires,